I'm back. I'm back for another edition of EBMG's Melanated News You Can Use. I'm your hostess, Lady Lila Brown, delivering you some of the day's top stories, our melanated people all throughout the world, United States. And then I'm hyper local, Los Angeles. So I'm going to have some specific stories going on there. Thank you. Thank you everyone that tunes in, that comments, that shares, that subscribes to my YouTube. I really appreciate you. So we're going to shoot over to some of my favorite top stories, some of the stories I put together, original content right here on LB Media Group. So make sure you tune in, listen, and you learn, you ask questions, and we'll get some answers. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone that been a part of this broadcast for years, and to our new subscribers and people logging in. This does not stop. I keep going. So I'm going to shoot over to, some things that are going on over here. And then we'll catch up on just a small entertainment news story. But I had the opportunity to join the mayor for a really interesting directive she's signing, because she's making her changes to Los Angeles permanent. And then we're going to shoot over as well. We're going to just make our way over to some reparations news, because my question to the mayor had a lot to do with that. So as always, I want to keep a smooth broadcast going for us. So thank you while I, get the stories going. Good information, really, really good information. I think we all can learn from, but I got to take time to invite people in, and so I like to do that. But thank you, great. Take some time to invite my people in, listen to this story, and let me know what you think. And we'll go from there. We'll keep it moving, rocking, and rolling. Great. All right. I want to make sure, because we got a lot of different microphones going, I want to make sure there's no, the audio's good and you guys can hear everything. Oh, yay.
Another segment of EBMG's Melanated News You Can Use. I'm your hostess, Lady Lila Brown, reporting from the mayor's office at City Hall, where Mayor Bass just signed an ordinance to accelerate the building of affordable housing in Los Angeles. The ordinance was passed unanimously by the Los Angeles City Council just before the 4th of July holiday weekend. She was joined by Council President Paul Krikorian and newly elected City Council President Pro Tem Marquise Harris Dawson, who is replacing Curran Price after alleged embezzlement and a host of other issues. This ordinance amends the site plan review process to exempt affordable units from counting towards the review threshold. This amendment makes a focused portion of the Mayor's Executive Directive 1 permanent, dramatically accelerating and lowering the cost of affordable and temporary housing. The city has approved 22 projects totaling more than 1,600 units for housing. Listen now as Mayor Bass speaks on the importance of this ordinance.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I want to thank our Council President, Paul Krikorian, and Council President Pro Tem Harris Dawson. And I also want to thank the hard work of our Planning Director, Vince Bertoni, and Principal Planner Nick Marichucci. I'm sure I probably did not say that correctly. And Planning Commission President Samantha Billman, who made sure that today would be possible. This was an effort underway by the time I was sworn in, back in December, so I'm grateful to each of you and your colleagues for your tireless work to get us to this point. Last week, we heard the results of LASA's January point-in-time count, which provided a snapshot of the crisis we are facing and why we will not stop urgently moving Angelenos inside. Those numbers also underscore why we need to move just as urgently to build more housing, which is why my first executive directive focused on dramatically accelerating and lowering the cost of affordable housing. By cutting through red tape at City Hall, we have shortened the processing time from a matter of months to a matter of days. And as I talk to developers, they have been very clear that this is one of the main reasons why it's so difficult and so expensive to build in Los Angeles. The city has approved 22 projects and saved each project 6 months of processing time. So taken together, that is 1,600 units of affordable housing that will be brought online faster and at a lower cost, and we aren't stopping there. So today I will sign an ordinance that takes a major step in codifying Executive Directive 1 by exempting affordable housing and qualifying mixed income projects from the process of site plan review, and this is one of the major complaints of people who are trying to build affordable housing. Like Executive Directive number 1, this exemption will save projects 6 months of processing time. Saving time means saving money. This policy I'm signing today also encourages developers to include more affordable units in their projects. I again want to thank the Council President Pro Tem, Chair of Planning, Land Use and Management Committee, Harris Dawson, for their leadership on this and for seeing this exemption through. I know that the Southern California Association of Nonprofit Housing also played a key role, so I want to acknowledge them too. I look forward to working with the City Council to continue codifying the remaining elements so that we can make more housing available that meets Angelino's needs, that is affordable, and makes Los Angeles a more affordable and livable city.
Stay tuned to my YouTube for a full episode of Melanated News You Can Use as we continue to cover this most pressing issue facing Los Angeles, along with more news and updates on California's Reparations Task Force. Okay, but let's keep it 100. So I had an opportunity to ask the mayor this morning a little bit more insight.
Okay, hi, Madam Mayor. Last week, the California Reparations Task Force, they submitted their recommendations. How could your office work with the civil rights, human rights for some type of, reparations? This will help alleviate some of the housing issues with certain groups.
Right, exactly. And I think you're making reference to the pretty extreme disproportionate numbers in terms of the African American population, 80% of the population, over 30% of the unhoused folks. But we have an opportunity to look at the state recommendations as well as the city reparations task force. So it's something that I know that task force led by our general manager, Keke Palmer, will be examining both.
She's passing all these executive directives, these ordinances. She's issued the state of emergency. And then when we look at the housing problems, housing discrimination, displacement, gentrification, all these things, okay, that has affected a particular group of Angelenos. Now that Los Angeles has a reparations advisory committee, why wouldn't some form of reparations immediately be applied if it's disproportionately affecting this group of people? And they have a lineage historically of atrocities happening to this group of people. Maybe all that red tape and bureaucracy that you're having to cut through, maybe that's why this group is homeless. So people like to think that the solutions that they're providing as a Band-Aid is reparations, but we want to get these group of people where they're no longer reliant upon the government for assistance. Or is that what we're trying to accomplish here? Maybe they want this group of people to be relying upon government assistance. So we're going to really have to dig in deeper here. And we're going to have to figure out another way to frame this question because, and maybe we need to just go over and talk to Keke Palmer over at the Civil Rights, Human Rights, and Equity Division. Maybe we need to dig a little deeper. So you know that you can count on me to really dig to the bottom of this. And we can do this in a way that doesn't have to be confrontational. It's not for the got you moment, but we are really experiencing not only a humanitarian crisis, but human rights issues. If this group has always been attacked and hurt by that bureaucracy and red tape, I can't accept that answer. We need a little bit more. I mean, I'm at City Hall, so why aren't these departments working together? And I noticed that is an issue in government that we'll have this department in charge of this, but they're not communicating with this department, but they have similar issues. So we'll see what we can get going there. But I thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for watching the clips. Make sure you check out my exclusive one-on-one interview with the mayor, where we tackle a lot more of the issues. But right now, with this new budget pass, again, what a
Yeah, so I will be doing a replay. So I will be doing a replay of that interview. I just like to kind of make sure everything's going good here. But I will be doing a replay of the interview at the end of this broadcast because I'm figuring out some things here still with this. But so what I wanted to also do this broadcast is because if you can see, I asked the question about pairing some reparation solutions as a down payment and expediting. So everything she's doing is about a state of emergency. It's been about expediting the issues. So and removing any barriers. So this will be a great time if this is disproportionately seems like it's affected when you look at the details of homelessness and the population, and then you see that okay, last week we went through the Reparations Task Force and the proposals for not only the statewide, but California took it upon itself to also do the national implications. And so that's for every state to get involved and discuss and heal and get it. It's on the books, it's on the record. And so they're going to start erasing their own records. That's theft. And, we can get the national archival records and see what's the protocol for violating that. So we don't want to be obstructionists, right? So I think that's where I get to step in and really take a look at that final report. So I am going to take some time to get that because we're going to focus because it's so much information. So we'll focus particularly on for the final report of the California Reparations Task Force is complete. And I need to get this printed out and just have it with me. But it's final, it's done. And that's what I was able to ask the mayor about. And I'm excited about that. So if you guys have any questions, please share, please like, please comment, please give me some emojis. Hello, thank you to my faithful, my loyal and my faithful people. Yeah, lay on those hearts. Lay on those hearts. Yeah, come on in. We're just getting started here. And we're trying to roll here. We're trying to roll here in 4K. So this is the new look. This is the new broadcast Zen studio. Somehow, some way, going over the news with you all brings me a state of Zen. So we'll be toggling here, going back and forth, watching some of these my favorite clips and videos. And this is your weekly report. And this is what's going on with me. Feel free if you want to, if there's some, buzzing news story going on wherever you are, make sure you comment and you let me know and we can talk about it. I'm well versed. And if we can squeeze in some time, we have just a clip and just some brief commentary on Keke Palmer. So go ahead, let me know your comments there and I'll go back through, share the video. Come on in and share, you can share it on Messenger too. Let's get this out there. Reparations is happening and reparations is coming. So keep doubting us. I don't know why people keep doubting us. We get shit done. And we're going to talk a little bit about Clarence Thomas, what is going on there. So, buckle up. Go pop some organic maize popcorn. Get you a soda pop, and have plenty of water. I'm prepared today. I got my water. This is not your ordinary news broadcast. And you're going to come to appreciate all this very, very soon, because a lot of y'all not paying attention to geopolitics. So you're going to be wanting some updates. And I don't know how long y'all think this 4K, 5K, 5G supposed to be running. Y'all better start subsidizing some internet. My goodness. I think some people out there still rolling up on dial-up. So we're gonna try to give you the news in print, and we're gonna give you the news. I was supposed to lead up to that Karen Bass thing, so I'm gonna go back. I want to review some of the responses, because I'm not gonna stop asking her about reparations. So we're gonna have to figure this out. We're gonna have to figure this one out, because yeah, look, I'm gonna do something real quick. So yeah, I'm not gonna stop asking her about reparations, okay? I'm not gonna stop asking her about reparations. That's it. Okay. And we're going to investigate a little bit. We are going to find out what are the next steps. You know, we're all about proper protocol here. So we're going to shoot over to our next clip. I'm going to just show you all the different times I've asked her about reparations. This is my second time, so it's not like she's dodging the question or anything like that. But Madam Mayor Karen Bass.
There some legal remedy for housing segregation and housing discrimination?
Well, I think, absolutely, if that is taking place. What I'm describing, I think, is something different. To me, housing discrimination is I'm attempting to rent an apartment that's widely advertised as being vacant, but the minute I show up, all of a sudden it's filled, and if a white individual shows up, then the unit is still vacant. That's a different type of thing than what I'm describing. I'm describing bureaucratic hurdles that were unnecessary. That's what was self-inflicted. So since we set up the bureaucracy, we have the power to set that bureaucracy aside.
Great. Trying to squeeze their little ads in. No. All right, we're back. As you can see, I'm setting up the fact that, we have this. Maybe we just got to go right into the California Reparations Task Force report. Maybe we're just going to have to go for it. You get what I'm saying? Like, they stated the problem, and now here's the solution. So let's get into it then. We have the final report. And then, as you can see, we have some stories that are scrolling at the bottom on the ticker there. And these are the top pressing stories. So we don't always have enough time to squeeze in everything. So we got to be very, very deliberate with what we're doing here. So when we talk about reparations, it's not just about slavery. It's about racial terrorism. It's about gentrification. It's about employment discrimination. It's about housing discrimination, denial into educational institutions. There has to be some remedy for that. And so housing segregation was coming out of Jim Crow. And so Jim Crow was very adamant about that. So we do have to shoot over. And we're just going to go over this. And so I'm happy that I'm figuring out all of this web stuff. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Now, this is a PDF, so bear with us here. It's a lot of files, but we're going to go straight for it. It seems like the mayor is not ready for conversations about reparations, but she's talking about housing, and because of the great work of the Reparations Task Force, we're going to start there then. And so if we are saying housing is a barrier to building generational wealth, the President of the United States, President Biden, has noted this. So then we have to, I don't want to say mirror, but I feel like we have to pair reparations, housing displacement. If the housing is fucked up, the income is going to be fucked up, the family's going to be fucked up, there's displacement, daddy's not in the home, parents are separated. So we can see, we can read, we see it on record. When y'all talk about bureaucracy, to me, I'm just like, the consequences of bureaucracy has been, okay, work with me here. Work with me. I can't think for you too. Jeez. All right, we're going to go. This don't make no cotton picking sense. We shouldn't have to do all this. I shouldn't have to, but we will. We all need to read it. Take this to the beauty salon. Take this to the barbershop. Take this back to the churches. Go through it. Y'all investigate everything about Keke Palmer, but y'all investigated shit about reparations. Y'all done found her baby daddy, her sperm donors, old tweets. But y'all can't find out what's going on with housing discrimination. Y'all better stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I really want y'all to stop playing with me. We're gonna go into it. Like, dang, I liked going to school. Never stop learning. I like pulling up files. I like pulling up information and sharing it with you all. And we're gonna do it in 4K. So thank you for your membership donations. I appreciate you all. Y'all got us broadcasting in 4K. Oh my God, wait, I gotta give it. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna come back just so we can get that applause. Oh my gosh. We're gonna come back. I forgot we have sound effects. I have to stop and thank my member donations. Wait a minute. Thank you to everybody. Wait a minute. We are broadcasting in 4K. Hold on, y'all can't hear me. Can y'all hear? Y'all probably can't even hear the sound effects. That like the videos. Thank you to everyone that donates, that hits the Cash App. That is my motivation. As you can see, I'm so happy. They are coming in. Don't stop. Keep it going. Don't stop. Keep it going. We're going to get into the, wait till y'all see when I get my reparations. Y'all wait till, we're going to be broadcasting from the moon like, we're at the satellites. Thank you to our member donations. I do have to say that. I have to stop. Wait a minute. Okay. All right. That's enough. Welcome. Come on in. Who's here with us? Who's here? Let it be known you're here with us. Let us know you're still here with us. Okay. Yeah, you saw. Okay, we're gonna get on Keke Palmer. Wow. Yes. Don't worry. That's the end. See, we don't put our entertainment news at the beginning. We got politics and resources and capital funding and spending. We got grants and donations. And we got tenant protections and relief aid. What we look like talking about. So we're going to get into it, though, because Keke Palmer, she denied billionaire thrice. Steve Harvey tried so many times. So that's what we're dissecting. The rejection of hypergamy and the Black woman's addiction to poverty pain. All right, a case study in social commentary. But we got homosexuals should be paying attention to the housing segregation reparations report coming out of the great state of California. What is going on? If you're a homosexual, somebody tag a homosexual. You don't love her. You love that memory foam mattress. Let's get on with the news. My bad. I had to stop it there. We get a little, when we start talking about our member donation, we get a little excited. My bad. All right, let's keep it going. Jeez. They just don't want me to be great. It should be rocking and rolling. much better than this. So much more smoother. Jesus. How's it discrimination? Let go. So where we get this information from? This is one thing y'all will notice these people that didn't do so well in school. Courtesy of not even, it ain't even the past. Wait, they didn't call the company not even the past. Not even the past.com. It ain't even the past. Not, you better come through with your research. Not even the past.com. Social vulnerability and the legacy of redlining. All right, we're going to read it here. All right. Share the video and tag some friends and tag a hobosexual. We got each one teach one. No sexual orientation left behind. How is it segregation? Are you or someone you know sleeping on someone else's couch? Are you having to feign loving someone just so you can have a place to sleep at night? Have you suffered from, I'm going to do what I want, but just end up doing what somebody else's wants and needs are, called housing chores? We'll look no further. We have a solution. It's called reparations. It should be the only topic of conversation. Thank you. Don't even go. We have so many new sounds, so I'll be here all week. Introduction. Can we get on with the program? Not even the past said, this ain't even that long ago. She said, that's not even that long. District 4, Cell Block 7, Block 8, Crip Gang 6, Detention 7. All right. After the Civil War, federal, state, and local officials working with private individuals actively segregate American land into African American and white neighborhoods. Okay? Trying to fuck with me. I was doing so good. Right, we're here. I didn't ask you to come up and start asking me, do I need commands done? Look. This housing segregation occurred over almost 200 years, y'all. So that's what I'm reading from. We're going to get into the report, okay? This is what I'm reading into. This thing just doing whatever it wants to do. So that's what I'm reading from today. So just to let y'all know where we are, what mode we're on. All right. We're at the final report. I think I put the link in my other, but get this, guys. This housing segregation occurred over about 200 years ago, we're noting here, and through a variety of different government strategies and policies, these government actions were intentional. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. They went on goddamn accident. So it was intentional, and they supplemented and intensified the actions of private individuals. All right, think about yourself as a private individual. So reparations here. Widespread actions and the resulting segregation of so-called, what they called these people at the time, our ancestors, Black people, African Americans, both nationwide and in California. So you'll see with the Reparations Task Force, they went ahead and did both. And they talk about the enduring badges and incidences of slavery because they continue to affect our people today. So immediately after the Civil War, the country was racially and geographically configured in ways that were different from the way it is segregated today. Most African Americans lived in the rural South. Okay, we're talking about living now. They lived in the rural South. All right, they were coming in from that Gulf of Mexico, from what you call today Mexico and Yucatan Peninsula. Most African Americans lived in the rural South on or near the land on which they had been enslaved, in shacks or former slave quarters. These were workers that were forced to what used to be free agriculture and their food for them, they were made to slave for their own ancestral crops. So in the cities of the North and the South, African Americans mostly lived in racially mixed neighborhoods. And even though Black Americans, the descendants of slave residents, lived in housing of worse quality and in back alleys, let's be honest. This is the result of slavery. So we don't want to get too far, and I'm just going to stick to the report. The average urban African-American person in 1890. So come on, 1890ers. Anybody that had ancestors here in the 1890s, please give me a heart. If you had ancestors on this continent, give me a heart. Give me some emojis. I'm going to do a brown heart. I'm doing a brown heart for my ancestors, the Brown family, and the brown people. So give me some hearts. Yes, yes. Give me some hearts for your answers, some heart emojis, comment some hearts. All right, we get into the 1890s, so we tread lightly here. Okay, with respect to the ancestors. Rural America also became increasingly segregated as African American residents left the rural South for economic opportunity and to escape racial violence and terrorism. Okay, a certain segregation, as certain segregation methods were declared. So remember, guys, this was strategic. Ain't nobody just, ooh, that just accidentally happened. This was an act of warfare against indigenous people. It was declared unconstitutional. Local governments ignored them. Still, even though we had the rulings in our favor, local governments ignored them or thought of new ways to reach the same goals. Although the decisions of millions of private homeowners, real estate agents, and landlords settled Americans into segregated residential patterns, it was action by all levels of government which expanded and solidified these settlements to the segregated neighborhoods of today. Once they were segregated, they started fucking up how they would do the funds. Between the 1900s and the 1930s, local governments actively planned cities to be racially segregated. The real estate industry promoted restrictive covenants. Remember the key word here, the real estate industry, the entire industrial revolution, the real estate industry promoted restrictive covenants, which were clauses written into deeds that prohibited non-white residents from living in the house. What are you talking about, Mayor? I'm trying to figure out when she gonna meet with and not just my mayor, but when all of these politicians gonna start meeting with the reparations task force and divisions. So we're here, we're reading. So we have some we're gonna, oh, thank you to those tuning in. Let me let you know what we're doing here. Okay. We're reading the California State Reparations Task Force. We're looking at the numbers. So I'm gonna let y'all look at some of these numbers. Okay. I want y'all to see if the information is ready for you all to review, but maybe you just don't have the time. Okay. Whew. The problem of segregation has never been corrected. America is as segregated in 2019 as it was in the 1940s, with the average urban black person living in a neighborhood that is 44% black. Thank you to our sociologists and our researchers. This is great. If you are keeping up in spirit with your ancestors, please comment some hearts and the emojis in the comment section. Give me some hearts. Thank you for your ancestors. That'd be great. Comments are welcomed here. So, percentage of African Americans who own homes. Look, in 1910, 36% of African Americans own homes. In 2021, it's only 34%. Intensity of segregation in America. In California, for example, the population of African Americans remained small until World War II, when African Americans moved to the state to find jobs in the war industry. On the one hand, Southern California is African American success story. Of course, our favorite brother, W.B. Du Bois, hero of Los Angeles and Pasadena in 1913. He said, nowhere in the United States is the Negro so well and beautifully housed, nor the average efficiency and intelligence in the colored population so high. In 1910, 36% of African Americans in Los Angeles owned homes, far more than most cities at the time. All right, so we got the numbers here. Like elsewhere in the country, the effects of these government policies at all levels continue to this day. In 2021, in Los Angeles and Orange counties, only 34% of black owned household owned homes, less than in 1910. And y'all know what happened with Bruce's family. Y'all, let's look at this. Constitutionally sanctioned housing discrimination. God damn. Really? It's hard to do this stuff and just remain and keep your decorum. I'm trying here. I beg you to try it. To our non-melanated people watching, that thinks, oh my gosh, I dare you to go through this and keep a clean mouth. This is weird. This is strange. It is peculiar. The reason housing segregation has never been fixed in America is due in part to the Supreme Court, as discussed in Chapter 2, enslavement, and Chapter 4, the Reparations Task Force, political disenfranchisement, although the Civil Rights Act of 1866 and the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution ban actions that continue the efforts of slavery. The U.S. Supreme Court decided in 1883 that the federal government could not prohibit racial discrimination by individual businesses, owners, and private parties. This ruling later applied to housing. As a result, government and private actors essentially ignored the Civil Rights Act of 1866. There will be reparations for that. We are definitely discussing the housing, the Civil Rights Act of 1866. We're citing federal law. We're not going to stop talking about federal fucking law. It's like they really want, they really like, it's like they really on the brink of war, but they trying to fight war in Ukraine. So the story did not end here. At the height of segregation in the 1970s, the U.S. Supreme Court popularized the myth that the American government had no role in creating housing segregation. So see, all of a sudden, they knew it was a thing, but in the 1970s, they were like, we didn't do it. It wasn't me. So now they're saying, oh, there was discrimination. Now they're saying it wasn't them, and therefore should not and could not fix the personal choices of millions of private citizens. So then maybe you need to take away that private law of immigrants. Maybe the descendants of immigrants shouldn't be. So the descendants of immigrants are benefiting from colonization. Oh my gosh, this is not hard to figure out. So yes, bling, bling, bling. Somebody might not do well in the affirmative action schools. Clarence Thomas is trying to tell y'all. Y'all can't say this shit that I say because y'all don't went to affirmative action. Y'all went the affirmative. You can't say what I can say because you went the affirmative action way. So the end of the Civil War, immediately after the Civil War. Anybody had ancestors on this continent immediately after the Civil War? If not, listen and learn and comment, ask your questions. It's very simple. It is very simple. Immediately after the Civil War, the country was racially and geographically configured in ways that were different from the way it is segregated today. Immediately after the Civil War, between 1860 and 1900, almost 90% of African Americans lived in the South, and 80% of those who lived in the South lived in rural areas. Many African American workers lived in former slave quarters on the same plantation on which they had been enslaved. They were all sprawled out. Once upon a time, they were all sprawled out. And then they all concentrated in the South because that's where the newcomers were coming. And the East Coast was like, hell no. Slavery's got to go. They was like, get rid of this. Get rid of all the English territories. Is like, what the fuck? All the black people living in those black Vermont, all the way up there. They was like, no. Hell, what the fuck is they doing? No. So our people that were free people of color coming in from the English or the black Europeans, it was like, what the fuck is this? What is all this going on? The Creole, they was like, huh? We, what, when, where, and why? Bonjour, non bon. No buenos, no mas. In California, all right, then you can go hyper local, and you can go mass to national federal. In California, however, around the end of the Civil War, okay, we're here. African Americans were few in numbers compared to other racial groups. Look, guys, here we go. So the 1866 is counting 4,000 plus total free colored, 17,000 black California Indians, and 34,000 Asiatic people who now call themselves Native Americans. That's how they say, well, we're not Chinese, we Native American. That's how they got to stay. Y'all don't even know what happened. They were like, no, we're not Chinese. They never called themselves Indian. So as a result of their small numbers, African American Californians at the time generally lived in multi-ethnic communities and occasionally also lived in small, predominantly African American communities. For example, a group of 44 settlers, half of whom were, come on, y'all, what they call African descent. No, they were no goddamn Africans, but they traveled from Mexico. They're gonna call them. They came from Mexico, but they're gonna call them African. Catch the hijack, and the bamboozlement, and the revisionism. They ain't got no records of them people that ain't got a single fucking record talking about their descent. Find some record to take that shit out. Established a settlement that later became Los Angeles in 1781. So why is the Reparations Task Force going, oh, all right. So bank that. So California Reparations Task Force goes to 1850. All right. Look, here we go. We're gonna go to 17. We got another quote for Brother Dubois. He ain't going nowhere. The brother did the work because he know I didn't want to. The brother did the work because he know I didn't want to. Let's remember that. Let's take some notes here. All right. So we're talking about 1781, this great city. All right. Modern day scholars agree that white and African Americans lived in the same geographic areas in the city. See, one is white, one's a color, and those are your black Europeans, okay? And then when they say African Americans, they are talking about the melanated people so they can categorize them, okay? Y'all better learn something about what was going on with these fucking color codes. Where are these people from? So where's Whitelandia? Anyway, lived in the same, it's a color code for society. They lived in it, so you just mark yourself white, and when nobody gonna check nothing. Lived in the same geographic, they didn't even have enough clerks to check all these indigenous people that was living around here. They lived in the same geographic area in the cities at the time because they're the same people, although in unequal quality of housing. So here comes the immigrants calling themselves white. They don't never tell you where these people come from. And they diluting, and then they calling you African American. One's a color, one's a lineage, one's a nationality, one's an ethnicity, but this white, we gotta understand. Where are they today? What they look like? White is a social status. So then people started flooding into this social status. Oh, white people get to have more under these new codes? And because it's like, what's the punishment? Why is there a punishment for African? Like, nobody can justify any of this. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So anyway, white families lived in front streets and broad avenues. These were the wealthy people. And people was like, oh, so if I could check, if I want to be rich or poor, I'm going to choose a color. This is the color for, all right, so I get to come to this country. And if I choose this color, I'll be like, all right, so this color's going to make me rich and this color going to make me poor. I'm going to choose. Anyway, let's keep it moving. So, let's keep it. Are y'all following me? Y'all following me? Oops. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, they want to play. Ain't no more playing GA. They want to go to infinity and beyond. All right, fun. So this is another quote from our brother Dubois. WB Du Bois. All right. Impoverished shanty towns of unemployed African Americans also appeared around southern cities and undesirable areas like swamps. Because remember, the Indians were living in the swamps, near city dumps, waste management. And next to cemeteries and railroad tracks, the chain gangs, burying their dead. The ghettos were built, those were the Jewish slums. But now all of a sudden they call them ours. We get that inheritance. All of a sudden, like, we could take that Hebrew term. We get to take the ghetto, de la ghetto. Ghettos were built up in nearly all southern cities. Not always sharply defined, but pretty definite. And in these, Negroes must live. So which one is it? Are they African or are they Espanol? Because the Spaniards are the ones that instituted slavery. So are they Espanol or are they English? Or are they Francois? Stop playing with us. Okay? So at the same time, less than 10% of African Americans lived in the North, and less than, this is pretty sick. I can't do it that much. I can't. This is very disturbing. Let's try to get through this. I'm gonna try. Trying to get through it. All right, many towns across the country became known as sundown towns, where African Americans were not allowed to stay after dark. That's on record. Although these rules were often unwritten, local sheriffs and armed white mobs enforced them. They had their own extra legal affairs going on, their own little private matters. Got to get them out of here. That's terrorism. Got to get that out of here. We need reparations. We need protection for that. Them codes and policies is societal. It's still on the record. According to one scholar, California had more sundown towns than the entire South. Oh, shit. Whoa. Wait, say what? I mean, I know it's a great landmass, but it ain't the size of the damn South. Well, who has sundown town? All right, the Great Migration. So I had some Mardi Gras footage that I shared on my YouTube in which we talked about the Great Migration from Louisiana, people facing racial terrorism, to now coming to the great city of Los Angeles as some type of refuge in this area to get away from the racial terrorism. But they follow wherever the Negroes ran off to, they followed. Between 1870 and 1900, many of our people moved from rural to urban areas in the South, looking for better paying jobs. Over the next 7 decades, as violence targeting African Americans intensified in the South, and as southern states passed laws that relegated African Americans in nearly every aspect of life to worse conditions than so-called color American. I'm still just gonna call these people a color. When you say advancement of colored people, white is a color. Get out of these color code. What color? Red, white? Man, get the fuck out of here. The promise of better jobs and the illusion of racial equality pull African Americans out of the South to the North and the West. This is called the Great Migration. If you are familiar with the works, art of Jacob Lawrence, maybe we'll pull up a piece for healing. Maybe we'll end after we get out of the Keke Palmer debauchery, we'll pull up a piece of a Jacob Lawrence, the Great Migration, and meditate with this image for some type of spiritual healing. So thank you to those tuned in. I appreciate you. All right. The exclusion or destruction of African American communities. Remember the Negro Traveler's Green Book? Espanol is an Espanol. For the Negroes, they were Espanols. And these are the places where you could go. Freedmen's Town. Nationality, banned from settling in entire geographic areas and escaping discrimination and racial violence. African Americans began building all African American towns in the 19th century in the South, West, the Midwest, and West. These were called freedmen towns. These towns developed in order to, in the words of one Black Town newspaper editor, exercise freedom as freedom was understood by so-called African Americans. That's not what they were called then, so I don't know why they're not using historical terms, but I'm going to call us historical Black Americans. Approximately 100 such towns were built in the early 1800s and 1900s. A particularly large of them migrated to Kansas. My people. Kansas, Oklahoma, over 30 all African American towns. Those were the Indians. That's what we're trying to tell y'all. It's in the task force report. Oklahoma had over 30 all African Americans. Hello. Other states with such town included Texas. Hello. Iowa, Kituwa. All right. Kituwa. Come on, Kituwa. New Mexico and Michigan. Okay. We know who's up there. As well as some of the former enslavement states of Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, and Tennessee. Keep it rolling. We know the Indians of this area. California. We love you, California. You're the greatest state of all. Thank you, California, for this reparations report. Oh, the nerds are gonna like dig in. Look, all the political research junkies are like, ah! Like we're over there. We're like, get your popcorn, get your soda pop, get your Hennessy. We're going in. We're digging into the Reparations Task Force report. It is now complete, and here's an image from the New York Public Library. Great. All right. We have Lieutenant Colonel Allensworth, founded as an all-black town. Oh, Allensworth founded on an all-black town outside of Bakersfield with 4 other settlers. Today, Allentown is a California state park. I told you all the state parks are old towns. They turned all our towns and be like, nothing shall be here. It should just be a park. Give us free. Give us land. All these state parks, all these nature reserves, I've been telling y'all, is right here in the reporting. It's right here. Pick a state park. Pick a nature preserve. Ain't nobody can do nothing there. That's your ancestral land. All your ancestors, cousins, and great aunts and them was all concentrated in one area, and now they're on the outskirts of that. Go check those records. Find out. I and my family, my sister, we drove to the land as far as we could go until it just became water. And our land, what used to be our homes, was to be our areas meant for farming and agriculture. When this particular city was founded, Allensworth was on the Santa Fe Railroad main line. Y'all better talk about this. Look at this. Look at this man. Come on, dignity. Allensworth, Lieutenant Colonel. Allensworth was on this Santa Fe Railroad main line, which allowed the town to derive revenue from the rail stop. In 1914, the rail line was diverted away from Allensworth. Not being able to earn revenue from the railroad stop or farming alone, residents worked multiple jobs in the surrounding discriminatory white communities. Young people left the town to find jobs elsewhere, and Allensworth slowly died and disappeared as economic opportunities decreased. That's what they do. We set up our towns, and then no economy comes there. So keep building these cities, but you ain't built the federal interstate. You ain't got no trains coming there. You ain't got no planes going there. You ain't built no terminal. How we supposed to get to these little black towns y'all be having? And then if something popped off and y'all need emergency, we can't get there because ain't no roads. Y'all can't just build the towns. You got to build the roads. Man, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Look, an entire black block ruined by Negro invasion, so they claim. Every house marked X now occupied by Negroes. So, look at these beautiful homes. This was in St. Louis, Missouri. So this is not just about California. We did this for everybody. You should be thanking us. You should be thanking us. Save your home. Vote for segregation. Let's just get through the infractions. Racialized neighborhood zoning. City officials use dead-end streets, highways, cemeteries, parks, industrial spaces, and rail lines to create boundaries between African Americans and white neighborhoods. African American people were even prohibited from burying the dead in white cemeteries and from using parks. City officials, city, Los Angeles. I think we found our LA page. The racialized the zoning. All right, great. Neighborhood zoning. City officials zone neighborhoods for single family homes without change for decades, okay? The federal government joined this effort in 1933. Franklin D. Roosevelt pointed to the National Land Use Planning Committee. Alfred Bettman explained that cities and states need to establish planning commissions for zoning to maintain the nation and the race. What? All of a sudden we right? Oh, thanks, Clarence Thomas. I appreciate you so much. We're about to send him some flowers because the Supreme Court just ruled there's no such thing as race. So they made up these racial constructs so they can create discriminatory practices. Thank goodness there's no such thing as race anymore. According to Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court Justice, oh, Georgia boy from Savannah, cheers to you, Justice. Stop these goddamn color codes. City officials zoned neighborhoods for single-family homes without changes for decades. City officials released or did not enforce zoning laws against white residents, though, but strictly enforced them against African American and other people of color. In fact, apartheid. So if you look at some of the recommendations from the California and to the now Los Angeles, so we're saying city up. So this is the second largest city in the United States, and California got the Reparations Task Force. So Los Angeles matters, and they zoned African American residential communities to commercial and industrial regardless of the residential character. They relaxed or did not enforce zoning laws, but only against these group of people because of the it's too much. In 1928, the city of Austin, Texas, I thought we was done with the infractions. In 1928, the city of Austin, Texas, adopted a master plan to create a Negro district. Good God Almighty. In 1928, good God Almighty, they still using Espanol term in Tejas, in Califia. Espanol, come on, Espanol. Who's a Negro? What's a Negro? The mechanism worked well. These racist agendas actually worked well. In 1930, Wheatsville, a racially mixed community in Austin founded by a formerly enslaved person, was 16% black. In 1950, the black population of Wheatsville was 1%. School sitting policy. This is why y'all don't know a lot. This is why. Them schools fucked up a lot of people. The schools messed up a lot of people. Oh, this is tough. California. Some scholars have argued that the first known attempt by an American city to segregate on the basis of race was in 1890 when the San Francisco Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to move all Chinese people within San Francisco to a neighborhood set apart for Chinese residents and businesses. As African Americans arrived in California during the Great Migration, California used segregation to reinforce the racial hierarchy created by slavery. I thought we was done. Eminent domain. That's how they took Bruce's Beach. Don't forget about eminent domain. That's how they got Bruce's Beach. And the mayor says we can't just take the land for homeless for eminent domain. It takes too long. Eminent domain is how they took Bruce's Beach. From the 1855 construction of iconic Central Park in New York City to urban renewal in the 1970s, America built parks, highways, and new economic developments that destroyed African American or integrated neighborhoods. From 1949 to 1973, compared to white Americans, African Americans were 5 times more likely to be displaced by eminent domain. When South Central Los Angeles became a black community in the 1940s, it had a mix of industrial plants and residential homes. The city of Los Angeles the city of Los Angeles rezoned much of the neighborhood for commercial use. A plant explosion killed 5 local residents, 15 white workers, and destroyed more than 100 homes. When the pastor of a black church protested the industrial zoning near his church, a city official replied, "Why don't you people buy a church somewhere else?" Oh, so it seemed like we was having these covert wars. Slum clearances. In 1850, so they put these people in poor areas, and they say, now we got to clear the area, all the poor areas. Put them all in poor areas, and now we're going to clear the poor areas. Throughout American history and across the country, government officials who are often Neanderthalic, as discussed in the Reparations Task Force, Chapter 4, political disenfranchisement, label African American communities as slums, regardless of what the neighborhood was actually like. This allowed government officials to demolish so-called slums to make way for commercial development, upscale residences, parks, universities, hospitals, and corporate headquarters. In 1855, about 1,600 people lived in the area in mixed-race neighborhoods called Seneca Village, Yorkville, and Pigtown. I wonder who lived in Pigtown. Even though state law at the time prevented black New Yorkers from owning land, got to pay reparations for that, more than half the black households owned their homes in Seneca Village. Even though they were creating laws, these people had generational homes already. This is the time of slavery. The community included 2 black churches and 1 racially mixed Episcopal church, a cemetery, and a black school. City officials destroyed all of it by 1857 to build Central Park with an all-white male workforce. We are entitled to work as well, but they don't think so. Here's a site clearance from the New York Housing Authority in around the 1940s. New York Housing Authority. They said, we put all the people in this area. Hey, black people move here. Black people move over there. Black people move right here. And then they say they all there. Are they all there now? Site clearance. All right, we got to get rid of them, demolish. So even when we're playing within their war strategy for us. And another example, after African Americans rebuilt in Tulsa following the 1921 Tulsa massacre, city officials declared the Greenwood community to be a slum and destroyed it again after the race massacre. Highway construction and urban renewal also appeared to have compounded the economic collapse of the Greenwood community. So freeway construction, every time we get an infrastructure bill, and these are all the infractions. Like from 1956 until 1965, for nearly 9 years, nearly a decade, the federal government did not provide any assistance to people whose homes were destroyed. During the first 20 years of interstate highway construction, more than 1 million people were displaced. Indian displacement, once again, keep calling these people Africans. Black American displacement. Just call it, you ain't got to put nothing in front of it. You can just call us American. And so you come to California, see how they do it broad, and then they make it very specific. In California, however, eminent domain was used against African American community as well as other communities of color, as in the rest of the country. California used park construction, slum clearance, and freeway construction to destroy African American communities. On September 23rd and 24th, 2021, California residents Jonathan Burgess and Don Bosciano testified before the task force that state officials built the Marshall Gold Discovery State Historic Park in Coloma. I think I talked to Jonathan before. On their family's land without just compensation. I'm not sure, but they also testified that the California Department of Parks and Recreation has not appropriately commemorated the history of the African American families who own the land. And then we got to come down to Southern California, the city of Manhattan Beach, and y'all heard about the Bruce's family. Willa Bruce was a black American, had purchased the beachfront property in 1912 to run a lodge, cafe, and dance hall. White people in the area tried to push her out by slashing her tires, setting fire to a mattress under her desk, and posting no trespassing signs and fake parking restrictions to chase away black customers. They did so much. Man, y'all, we got into the story. So that eminent domain, Areas with buildings that had faulty interior arrangement and areas. Oof. City agencies declared that the Western Addition was blighted in 1948 and began tearing it down in 1956. The plan was one of the largest projects of urban renewal on the West Coast. The city of San Francisco closed 883 businesses, displaced 4,729 households, destroyed 2,500 Victorian homes, and damaged the lives of nearly 20,000 people. All right, you just touched my soul with that one. Public housing. In 1937, the federal government revised its strategy and created the U.S. Housing Authority, USHA, which gave federal money to local governments to build public housing. Although the USHA manual stated that government housing projects should not segregate what were previously integrated neighborhoods, okay, it would also warn local officials not to build housing for white families in areas now occupied by Negroes. So all these color codes is on the record. That's what we're suing. We're suing for racial discrimination throughout United States history. Reparations for racial discrimination. In 1984, slavery was a result of warfare and then further perpetuated by racial codes. In 1984, investigative reporters found that 10 million federally funded public housing residents in 47 states, that's nearly all the United States, were almost always segregated by race because they created these race codes. And Justice Clarence Thomas just got rid of that. And that every housing project where the residents were mostly white was better maintained and had decent facilities, amenities, and services. Brown versus Board of Education is being cited here. John F. Kennedy tried to prohibit discrimination in housing by issuing Executive Order 11063, but the order only covered less than 3% of the total housing available in the United States. Finally, the federal government outlawed housing discrimination in 1964 with the passage of the Civil Rights Act, which was reinforced by the Fair Housing Act in 1968. Somebody had to do something to stop the bleeding. Public housing residents nationwide is 48% black. Cities in the Northeast and South, 99% black. Damn. Oh my gosh. My goodness. My gosh. This is a lot. Take a little breaky break there. Just trying to get through to all the. While white workers lived in rooms paid for by the federal government, black war workers lived in cardboard shacks, barns, tents, and open fields. By 1947, half of 26,000 black residents of Richmond were living in temporary housing. Redlining. African Americans received 2% of federal home loans between 1934 and 1962. Clarence Thomas saved the day. Y'all don't even fucking know it. A lot of y'all reading that wrong. Misinterpretation per usual. The 1947 and 1958 versions of the FHA underwriting manual did not directly mention race, but instructed mortgage lenders to consider physical and social attractiveness and whether the families living in the neighborhoods were congenial when evaluating the credit risk. State regulated insurance companies like the Equitable Life Insurance Company and the Prudential Life Insurance Company also declared that their policy was to not issue mortgages to whites in integrated neighborhoods. It's all on record. When the FHA reviewed plans for suburban development projects, it demanded that the real estate developer not sell houses to African Americans and sometimes withheld approval of the projects if black Americans lived in nearby neighborhoods. Less than 1% of federal housing administration loans went to black people in Northern California, 1946 to 1960. Go ahead and run us our checks. You can make a direct deposit. Ain't nobody got to know. Remember, we're only 6% of the state population. The FHA advised the white homeowner that because he rented his house to a black colleague, only future application from him will be rejected. Any future application from him will be rejected on the basis of an unsatisfactory risk determination made by this office on April 30th, 1959. Racially restrictive covenants. All right. Between 1923 and 1924, real estate boards in Milwaukee, Detroit, Kansas City, Los Angeles, and other cities prohibited their realtors from selling or renting property in white neighborhoods to African Americans. Run that back by me again. It said, the said land shall not be sold, leased, or rented to any person other than that of the Caucasian race, or to any entity of which any person other than that of said race shall be a member, stockholder, officer, or director. By helping preserve segregation and a system of racial hierarchy, such covenants are yet another example of the enduring effects of slavery. The Punjabi, the Chinese. By 1940, 80% of homes in Los Angeles contained restrictive covenants bearing black families. Okay. I don't have time for this, but it's bothering me, and I have to. Oh my gosh. John F. Kennedy. Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush all lived in neighborhoods or homes with racially restrictive covenants. The home that George W. Bush bought in 2008 was located where the neighborhood association enforced a racially restrictive covenant until 2000. So that's fairly recent. Racial terrorism. This is way tougher than I anticipated. But we're going to get through it because we got solutions. My goodness. Okay, so Los Angeles, William Bailey. And Roger Duncan looking at the wreckage in Bailey living room after a bomb exploded in the house. Duncan's house directly across the street was also bombed the same time, and a note was left threatening all the black families on the street if they didn't move out. So, America is more segregated today for African Americans than it was in 1940. Before 2008, however, compared to whites, African Americans and Latino borrowers were 4 times more likely to receive an expensive mortgage. From July 2019 to June 2020, compared to white applicants, African American applicants were 2.5 times more likely to be rejected for mortgages. Before 2008, banks specifically targeted black and Hispanic homeowners to advertise toxic subprime mortgages that triggered the Great Recession. In Memphis, employees of Wells Fargo's bank referred to these loans as ghetto loans. And bank supervisors were targeting black zip codes because they believed that residents weren't savvy enough. In the last decade, black Californians were less likely to own a home than in the 1960s when housing discrimination was legal. Just go 6% of your population is going to bankrupt your state 3 times over. Taking care of 6% of the population in some form of down payment for reparations in the total bill, 6% of the population is owed 3 times your state budget. African American unhoused population, 40%. State and local urban renewal, highway construction, and gentrification have destroyed African American communities through the state in the 1960s. Vibrant communities like San Francisco, Fillmore District, and the Los Angeles Sugar Hill have been reduced to rubble or an 8-lane highway. Today, segregated neighborhoods in California are often populated by a mix of African American and Hispanic residents and are more vulnerable to be displaced by gentrification. One study found that 5 of the 20 most rapidly gentrifying cities from 2013 to 2017 were in California: San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, Sacramento, San Diego, and Los Angelesinos. In writing about gentrification of her historically Black neighborhood, someone said, Black presence has value in every sense of the word, and on its own terms. That value should make the casual displacement of Black people untenable, even immoral. I wish at some point we would stop referring to ourselves as a color. You do whatever you want to a fucking color code, but what you can't do is just do whatever you want to U.S. citizens and Americans. So you mean to tell me the United States, supported state-sponsored terrorism against U.S. citizens? It's not making sense to me. Home values. All right, I think we've reached some sort of conclusion. The American government reinforced the effects of slavery by maintaining a racialized caste system and effectuating segregation. Federal, state, and local governments across the country and in California, along with private sectors as well, they created separate and unequal cities and neighborhoods for African American and white Americans led by the federal government. Local governments passed zoning ordinances and state courts enforced racially restrictive covenants to exclude African Americans from neighborhoods. So when you go to law and you think, okay, the law, this is fucked up, and then the judge all of a sudden like, bloom, is because they ruled against you because of the racial covenants. So people were losing in the court of law. And if you suing somebody about some money or something related to money, and you automatically lose in the court of law because of skin color, and because this is all these are all agendas and plans, and this is all supported, and this is part of a program that's moving forward, then that's a direct attack on a group of people. And so the United States was doing this to its own citizens. This is some deep, very, very deep covert. So people got to get out. I don't know what is so appealing about the entertainment industry right now, but with all this going on, I can't see how anybody can concentrate on anything else. I really don't. I mean, what is going on? So we still gonna have brothers and sisters waking up every day serving this institution. So there better be some reparations applied, because other than that, that's sabotage. When white supremacists burn crosses, as we just had an incident in Silmer, they bombed houses, harassed and terrorized African American families. Gentrification is part of a long history of displacement for indigenous people, Native American, historically Black. This report's talking about Inglewood. Somebody, again, another resourceful person for a lot of these narratives, said, I thought about how fragile my feelings of being settled is. It didn't matter that I own my house, as many of my neighbors do. Generations of racism, Jim Crow, disinvestment, and redlining have meant that we don't really control our own spaces. In that moment, I have been overwhelmed by a kind of fear, terrorism, one that's connected to the historical reality of Black people being run off the land, indigenous, Black, Native American, African American, colored, Negro, Blackamoors, Creole, all these names you want to call us. We're Americans. Just call us Americans. I'm going to read it as such. That's connected to the historical reality of Americans being run off American land they lived on, expelled by force, high prices of some whim of some foreign invader population, colonization. All right, here's some numbers. I guess we can look at this. racial disparities in home values. A lot of people that want to get into the research are going to like these numbers. It's going to help them because, I mean, at the same time, we got to come up with some solutions. So as you can see, racial disparities in home values, 86% value of the typical black-owned home as a percentage of the value of the typical U.S. home. So statewide, value of the typical white-owned home as a percentage of the value of the typical U.S. home. So for our 86%, they're going to value statewide. So the state is still discriminating? LA hella discriminating. So our homes are devalued in every category. They all over 100% in value. Gap in black home ownership rates, black home ownership rates, BHR, and again, white, all these color codes. They just showing this is the cases for a lawsuit. This is a case for a lawsuit. White home ownership rates. Oh, we should take this to the Supreme Court. And formerly green line neighborhoods, 1980 versus 2017. Fresno, black home ownership rates, white home ownership rates, 31, 71, a 39% gap. Who had the largest gap? San Diego had the largest gap. San Jose has a wide gap. Sacramento has a wide gap. Los Angeles has a 19% gap. Damn. That's 1980. You go on 1970. God damn. I'm just gonna launch. My bad. I wasn't expecting that. What? 2% to 62. So it's gone down to both sides, but god damn. That's a 10-point difference. They went from a 39% to a 60-point difference. God damn. That Fresno, y'all really. But look, I bet you go to Fresno and you see all those mixed race couples. I bet you see a bunch of mixed race couples out in Fresno. Don't get me started. So we went down 3%, okay, in so many years. Damn. This about in my lifetime. Now we're talking about my lifetime. 84% to 85%. So they took theirs to Oakland. Okay, well it's Oakland. But Oakland, okay. Good job, Oakland. Sacramento, we went all the way down to 16%. San Diego, we grew. And okay, we hella grew in San Jose, but it's still a 19-point difference. 43% difference from 40. They did good. So we, God, I guess that bleeding of the when they stopped the Fair Housing Act. God, sundown towns. See what California did here, everyone? If your city is listed here, historically, if you have any ancestry in California, around this time, as many of you do, maybe unaccounted for. Sundown towns, identified in California. Sundown towns, a hidden dimension of African American racism. So here they go. Here's some identified. A place called Brea, and Bishop, and Burbank, Maywood Colony, Corning, Culver City, Glendale, Hawthorne, sundown towns, La Jolla, numerous suburbs of Los Angeles, Palos Verdes Estates, Richmond, San Marino, South Pasadena, Taft, and Tarzana. My gosh. Oh, we made it. Oh my gosh. Now the solutions is going to just restate the problem, so brace yourself, but it's going to provide some solutions. That was hard. Okay, that was hard. We made it. Let me see. I got some new sound effects. hard. That was hard. That was really hard to do. And we're still here. You're still here with me. Say something, comment. Thank you. Y'all, that was really, really hard to do. But we did it. But we did it. Okay. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. All right. Make sure you participate. If you have questions, whether you're listening live or later, I appreciate you. That was really, really tough, but I had to get through that, and I appreciate you all for being here with me as we get through that. That was tough. And I knew it was gonna be heavy. I knew it was gonna be heavy. This is the final report of the California Reparations Task Force. As you can see, we made some national implications, and so thank you. We're not only just doing this for California, we're doing this for the rest of the nation. So take this as a template. California is an amazing leader. California is an amazing leader. So we're going to get into some of the solutions, because I'm talking particularly about Mayor Bass, and now we're talking about stolen land. We talked about these things. But what are we going to do? So how do you address housing segregation and unjust property taking? Well, we came up with some solutions. So you can either ride with us, say thank you. Thank you. I say thank you to the Reparations Task Force. I say. I like it. I'll take it. I'll rock with it. Let's see. For the ancestors. That's for the joke I made about an hour ago. I wasn't ready. So, thank you. We're still here. I'm glad we're rocking and rolling here today. So now we have some solutions that we want to get into. The policy recommendations, all these things, because it's not enough. I have a new rule that I don't talk about my ancestors' pain and suffering without ending and concluding with some form of reparation solutions. I don't sit there and trauma bond and get into the trauma porn. Some people like to hear about that. Some people are sadistic. You'd be surprised. Some people really like to hear about all this trauma and drama in which our ancestors had to endure. So we don't, over here on this broadcast, we don't get into all that sadistic, perverted, like to hear our issues. Well, here's the solutions. If you like the trauma, here's some drama for your mama. It all started with Obama. You're going to love the punchline, man. The punchline is us punching these reparation books, and they putting these holes in these punch cards and loyalty points. There's going to be so many ways to apply reparations. If you like the joke, you're going to love the punchline. Policy recommendations addressing housing segregation and unjust property taking, which led to homelessness. Let's say it together. It led to homelessness. All right, we still good here? Policy recommendations. This chapter details the policy proposals. to address the harms. Okay. All right. I got a lot of microphones open here. We got a lot of cameras and microphones, so bear with me here. It's not too bad, but it just ain't right. That ain't right. I can't have y'all like. I know this is good information, but I don't want to mess y'all up here. So, and then we'll get to some. Great. Let's get back into it. Now we're gonna go apply. As you can see, we are ready to go. Take your second wind. You need to take a little puff, think, smoke break. We are at your service. Thank you so much for tuning in to EBMG, another full episode version of Melanated News You Can Use. We're going to wrap up with some Keke Palmer, just to remind you that maybe this is why your ancestors don't have no wealth. Maybe we've been programmed against wealth and we need some financial healing. We need some financial reparations. Financial reparations, legal remedies, financial healing for wealth confiscation, and then racial segregation and exclusion from economic opportunity. Policy recommendations. So in this chapter for the Reparations Task Force, it details the policy to address the harm set forth in the 5th chapter that we just went through. Y'all, we went through that whole chapter. Give yourself a pat on the back. Housing discrimination, housing segregation. These things leads to homelessness. Prioritize responsibility development in communities and housing development. Enact policies overhaul. Okay, so we're gonna go down as you can see. Here we go. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you so much. All right, so here's some of the recommendations. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna go over this together, but allow me to read this to you here. Prioritizing responsibilities development in communities and housing development. So their recommendation is to enact policies overhauling the housing industrial complex. So don't get into no argument with nobody. Somebody did all this work and you sit here talking about X, Y, and Z and getting fumbling and confusing things and misquoting. We just refer to the housing recommendation. Policy recommendation for housing segregation. Collect data on housing discriminations. Provide anti-racism training to workers in the housing field. Expand grant funding to community home-based organizations to increase home ownership. Provide property tax relief to African Americans, especially descendants living in formerly red-line neighborhoods who purchase or construct a new home. Provide direct financial assistance to increase. See, these are all forms of recommendations. Provide direct financial assistance to increase home ownership among African Americans, especially descendants, through shared appreciation loans and subsidized down payments, mortgages, and homeowners insurance. Require state review and approval of all residential land use ordinances enacted by historically and currently segregated cities and counties. Repeal crime-free housing policies. Increase affordable housing for African American Californians, Black Californians. The policy recommendation for the Reparations Task Force to provide restitution for racially motivated takings. Provide a right to return for displaced African American Californians. Did they just say a right to return? Ooh, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be. They better have the National Guard ready. This is insane. It's beautifully done though. Job well done. I think everybody's excited about this. So the policy, they start breaking down all those things I just read. It's a whole deeper discussion, as you can see. The task force recommends the legislature prioritize responsible development by enacting statewide responsible development standards to require new developments to enhance the surrounding contributing resources. prioritize a medical facility instead of a coffee shop. How about that? Prioritize what actually priorities, people. Prioritize. Priorities. Here at EBMG, we practice what we preach. So we prioritize our needs. We don't get most newsrooms, 80%, 90% of the stories is gonna be entertainment, Keke Palmer. Here is gonna be 80, 90% local issues, federal opportunities for solutions, and 10% celebrity junk news gossip. Because you still need the fluff pieces. So the state's Civil Rights Department, for instance, found that nearly half of Los Angeles County properties tested in 2022 showed evidence of unlawful discrimination. Wait, what? They say what in 2022? The state Civil Rights Department, for instance, found that nearly half of Los Angeles County properties tested in 2022 show evidence of unlawful discrimination. We're just taking some notes here. Okay. In tandem with Housing First programming, the legislators should fund mobile crisis units staff. I mean, they give us solutions. The legislators should also require governments to collect and make transparent quantitative data and statistics on housing disparity. Provide property tax relief to African Americans, especially descendants living in formerly redlined neighborhoods who purchase or construct a new home. Other jurisdictions like the city of Evanston, Illinois, have also offered down payment and mortgage assistance as part of their reparations program, a repertory program. Nearly 80% of people targeted for eviction under crime-free housing ordinances were from 2015 to 2019 were not white. They said this tract is exclusive and restricted. That's our ancestral indigenous tracts. Black Californians are more likely to rent than own their homes and thus own less assets and cultivate less intergenerational wealth. Provide restitution for racially motivated takings. The state of California and local governments targeted property owned by African Americans in urban renewal and development projects. So poverty happened to you. Poverty happened to us. Homelessness is directly targeted to. So if anybody in our family or our people are homeless, 3,550 families were dislocated due to construction of the Century Freeway in Los Angeles in 1968. We talked again about Bruce's Beach. So here's solutions. Provide a right to return for those that were displaced. I might have to go use that one for the Indians. A right to return, and we should be, if I go back to the reservation, I should live rent free. Stop fucking with me. You kept us out of our citizenship. I am 30 something plus years old and they kept us out of our citizenship. We have a right to return. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this, giving me so many ideas. There's so many ways to get this done. It's so many ways to solve these issues. The task force also recommends the legislature give preference in rental housing, home ownership, and business opportunities for those who were displaced or excluded from renting or owning property in agency assisted housing and business opportunities developed in or adjacent to communities. I ain't working shit. Once upon a time, y'all didn't give us the right to work. Y'all did all this stuff to us. and made life difficult for us, so I couldn't do this, so I couldn't have XYZ, and you want me to get up today and still go be successful in your economy? I don't think so. I'm sitting down and I'm doing what I want to do, and it just so happens this is it. This is what I want to do. The solutions are clear. It's there, and that was just for housing. We got that. That was hard to stomach. That was hard. It really was. Let's get this going here. Like, where do we go from here? Like, that is a lot. As you can see, I keep asking this mayor about reparations. I wanted to do a replay, but that was a lot. So let's get back to let's see. It's not making sense to me to skip over this report. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna keep this 100 again. We like to this one is listing all of the elite U.S. families, and of those elite families, the politicians whose ancestors held slaves. And we went by as much information as we could for this report, but Reuters, thank you to their deep research team, and this is how they properly using their resources. I love it. Thank you. This is a scathing report. It's damning. When we talk about do your genealogical records, y'all might be friends with somebody that owe y'all reparations. So here we go. Oh, so we're gonna get into it. Like, actually, my bad for that. So you may have seen this on my TikTok. So I'm making content on my TikTok that I do like to include in the broadcast. I want to make sure that maybe you can still hear. Let's see. Let's try something new here. Let's try something different here. Hopefully it's synced. Maybe we can keep it here. Maybe we can't do this. Let's go for it. Good luck. Wish us luck. Okay, it's not. I don't think that's gonna work for us here. So just let me to. I'm just gonna have to keep going back and toggling between our microphones and our audio here. So just thank you. I'm quick. I'm quick as possible. I'm quick as this machine will allow me to be. So so thank you as I work through these technical difficulties. But your girl's a genius here. So I know how to. Thank you.
Reuters, the media organization, has come out with its own extensive investigative report detailing some of the United States' top politicians, policymakers, governors, Supreme Court justices who have direct ties to slavery, listing their direct ancestors by name. This scathing report goes into the genealogical records of those who descended from slave owners. They kick off this detailed report with none other than himself, Lindsey Graham, from the state of South Carolina, listing his direct ancestor, Joseph Maddox. Now, this is his 3 times great grandfather, and he's been on the record to say, yes, that is the original sin of the country. But this report detailed, and surprising to a lot of these politicians, letting them know that the surnames that you carry and the ancestors that you so beloved were slave holders and owners and traders. For those who still bear the names of the direct ancestor, we have Nancy Mays here, her direct ancestor, Drusilla Mays, great-great-great-grandmother, even tells you the name of those enslaved and how many. Again, coming from South Carolina. I think I've been pretty vocal about the fact that, yes, even the Asians were slave owners. So today, many of you may call these types Native Americans, and you'll say, oh, Native Americans own slaves. Well, here's your Native American here. A lot of Asiatic Orientals came to the United States with their wealth, and they took advantage of the slave economy. Tammy Duckworth from Illinois, direct ancestor Henry Coe. This is her great-great-great-great-great-grandfather slaving 4 people. When she found this information, Reuters, take it upon themselves to do this investigation, but also informed them of this damning report. She said it was gut-wrenching to learn this information. Now, you know what happened in Texas. They didn't want to let their slaves go ever. They wanted to have a few more harvests before they gave up their participation in the slave economy. Texas, you're on the clock. All right, Juneteenth is now a federal holiday. You can go after Pete Sessions right here. Direct ancestor, Richard Sessions, great-great-grandfather. That ain't that long ago. That's how old these people are, by the way. And number of enslaved persons, 96 souls. Beautiful lives lost to the likes of these people. So think about that when we're doing policy making and voting. Reparations on the table, and they don't want to be directly involved with that, but I think it's time for a cure and a legal remedy. Next up, we have Tom Cotton. He is a senator from Arkansas, and as many may know, Arkansas was Indian territory as the westward expansion was happening, and great-great-great-grandfather enslaved 6 people. Shame, shame, shame. That was Indian territory. Tom Cotton, I wonder what your export was, but exploiting the labor of indigenous Black people, all on the basis of skin color. Everybody is trying to get in on that slave economy, including those who descended from ancestors. That ancestor, John Dowager, Coward is what I call him. We have another senator. We're just lining up the senators here, aren't we? From New Hampshire, direct ancestor Archibald Crawford, great-great-great-great-grandfather, enslaved 10 beautiful souls and people, all on the basis of skin color. Her ancestor migrating as an immigrant to this nation, also one of the immigrants taking advantage of the slave economy. Joe Uli Wilson. This is the man that was so outraged at former President Obama's State of the Union address that when he was quoting something, he yelled out, very tacky, low class, low etiquette. You lie. A lot of people may remember that. Well, you are lying about your involvement in slavery. Just your great-great-grandfather, Stephen H. Bonneau, probably coming in with some of those French Creole types, who knows. But the representative, another member of Congress from South Carolina, enslaved souls, 16. Shame, shame, shame. So they know this about their family members. They know exactly their family heritage. They are actually proud of their heritage. So they want to go back to these days and remember all that Make America Great Again. A lot of these daughters and sons of the Revolution and Confederacy still carry the surnames of slave owners. So slavery is not that far-fetched for someone, especially like Julia Brownlee, representative from California. And, she is embarrassed by this. And so make sure, Californians with your Reparations Task Force, you quote exactly the types of Julia Brownlee. So we don't know much about these enslaved persons outside of when their family members died, it was listed as property, so we get some form of a name. Her great-great-grandfather, just just a few back, you know, enslaved 3 beautiful souls. These people were most likely prisoners of war. It was countless warfare, so the immigrants coming in could own slaves. Here we have Mo Brooks, another representative from Congress from the state of Alabama, direct ancestors, say their name. Thomas Ferguson, great grandfather, enslaved 1 person. That's his family's ties to slavery. And rounding out just some of the politicians, will go into this, but we have Dick Larson, direct ancestor. John Wiggins, great grandfather. Wow, 5 times back grandfather owned slaves. And so a lot of that wealth that is accumulated so these people can run for office and make policies and codes in spite of the American population, all based on skin color. It seems like they can't give any privileges and benefits, but when it's time to criminalize and punish or to commit heinous acts of terrorism and crimes against humanity, they have no problem pointing out race. So shame on your ancestor, John Wiggins, another immigrant. All of these are immigrants taking advantage of the establishment of this slave-based economy from those who insurrected against their own monarchy. So we have 5 living U.S. presidents. 1 includes Barack Hussein Obama, 2 Supreme Court justices, 11 governors, and 100 legislators who all descend from ancestors who owned Black Americans as slaves.
All right. Oh, so we still good here? Oh, we let's see how long we're good here for. Good. So, another hard report to do. That's really hard. That gets to be really hard sometimes. But we're trucking along. I just wanted to put that out there. That one upset a lot of people.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
So, of course, you know, I
also had an opportunity to ask.
This is, again, I'm asking the mayor about reparations time and time again, so. We're going to go back to our exclusive interview with this amazing mayor. But this is I'm just going to play this clip here. I had the opportunity to ask Mayor Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, about the Reparations Advisory Commission. So you're going to listen.
I also had an opportunity to ask the mayor about reparations.
And well, Los Angeles has a Reparations Advisory Commission now. How are your offices working with that department?
Well, you know, that's a very good question. Capri Maddox is the general manager over that department. And it's something that I want to get involved in and find out exactly where they are with the process, just like the state commission. So I haven't had the opportunity to review those reports, but I certainly can.
I also had an opportunity to ask.
So I don't always get to go into international news, but I am watching the situation in Sudan. I don't always have enough space and there's just a bandwidth and just, you know, I wish you guys would tune in, ask your questions, but I appreciate those that do. You guys are awesome. Downtown Lila Brown is one of my other monikers. Downtown Lila Brown is another one of my personalities. So I wanted to show you all this as well, which has great fashion ties. And so downtown Lila Brown, that's my other That's my other moniker. We go Lady Lila Brown, downtown Lila Brown, but she likes to go to fashion events and she loves reporting on all the amazing news and information from designers that are doing really, really cool things. So I had the opportunity to check out the Philip Plein Crypto Luxury Swiss Timepiece Cocktail Soiree. I was a guest there, Beverly Hills, just so I can bring you this amazing report. And you'll see there's an NFT art attached to the timepiece. It's custom, all these great things. And so we're at the Waldorf Astoria here. So thank you for tuning in and listening. I appreciate you all. This should be fun. And I always been following Mr. Philip Plein. So anytime like he did his athleisure luxury athletic store, I was there. Great designer and great work.
Yes, that one.
Is the NFT of the watch.
Oh.
So when you buy the watch, you get also the NFT, and the NFT represents an individual. For example, like this one. So this is the watch. That's the digital version of the watch, the NFT. And you can get the NFT by scanning this QR code right here. So you buy the watch, but we give you also the NFT.
Amazing.
Every watch has its own video, its own NFT. Everything is Swiss made and very exclusive.
They constantly trying to get their little ads in. They be trying to get their little ads in, you know. So I do that. I also do that. Yeah. Everybody trying to sneak up in my broadcast. All these automatic plays. Now they try to bring up Earn Your Leisure. So basically, from time to time, we will be able to bring in some original news stories. We'll be able to show a little bit of the day in the life of what I do around the entertainment industry as well. But this story with Mayor Bass is so captivating to me. I'm trying to get it where we're moving over to our fashion. That was my fashion story. Moving over to entertainment. And then we'll wrap it up with a replay. But I was trying to make sure that, let's see. I think I know what I'm about to do. I'm trying some things out, so I appreciate you all. Wish we could have some music going. Let's see. Toggling here, trying to make sure everything's good with us. Okay. All right, maybe not. Maybe we're good. All right, so I'm gonna do a replay here. We're gonna throw back because I had an exclusive one-on-one interview with Mayor Bass, and I'm like, that's a big deal. And I wanted to replay it because, you know, something we can do reruns. Y'all chilling. Thank you to those that are listening live, and I also appreciate those that listen later. I really do appreciate that too. Great. So we're broadcasting 4K here. I really do. I'm happy about that. Oh, I see what they're doing. I see why. Okay, let's see. Maybe this will work. All right. So yes, California Reparations Task Force complete. That's my top headline right now. And I'm also trying to investigate whether reparations can fix homelessness. And then Keke Palmer's got some other stuff happening too. So, you know, that happens. Yeah, I was able to attend that Philip Plain event, Swiss time pieces. It was great. I'm happy I was able to get my reparations question answered. But I think it's a little bit more nuanced. But I always want to start with the basics. And that report, it wasn't as bad. I mean, I got through the solutions. I thought the solutions was going to be a little bit more tough to get through. But yes, I want to do this Keke Palmer, and then we'll finish with the mayor. So I want to make sure we're good here because I'm testing. So hopefully nobody will try to get me with some copyright infringement. You know, this is for educational purposes only. We'll be dissecting it. We'll be dissecting this news and information.
That's what we need to do.
So some people may have seen this clip by now. Where Sister Girl rejected a billionaire not once, not twice, but thrice. Just like Peter denied Jesus. It was a catastrophe. So I just wanted to impart some spiritual wisdom. Be careful what you reject publicly, even if it's just based out of fear. Be open-minded and receive your blessings. Okay? All right.
Well, you're 25 now.
25.
How the dating going?
Dating is
Some
good,
help
you know.
from Uncle Steve.
Uncle Steve is always trying to get me with the billionaire. I'm like, Uncle Steve, I don't need the billionaires. I just need some simple stuff. You know, I don't like to mix my industry business with my personal life. I'm just laying low in private, love.
Uncle Steve ain't trying to get you with no billionaire. He trying to get you with somebody that has a plan to have something. That's what I keep trying to get you to do. You can't quit bringing these.
Uncle Steve love billionaires. I'm gonna just tell y'all, he do. Anytime I see Uncle Steve out, he's like, now I got this guy. He's got a net worth of 300 zillion. And y'all can really create generations and generations
You need
of
something
zillionaires.
with somebody with something. Quit trying to give a boy your lifestyle and he ain't earned it.
Oh my God, but you know what? Everybody don't start off as billionaires. I'm not a billionaire yet.
Everybody don't start off a billionaire, but you got to have a boy that's got a plan to at least be one. I'm not saying you got to be a billionaire, because hell, I ain't a billionaire.
And I've dated some real horrible billionaires, honey. They not good all the time. Sometimes they're crazy, Steve, and that's why I had to stop taking your advice.
You didn't pick the word I told you to.
Steve, the billionaires
Because
terrible.
Because you don't listen to who I tell you.
Them billionaires be having 4 and 5 and 6 other wives.
Well, you the one over there and got them. I ain't never bought you nobody like that. You gonna sit your crazy ass up here and say that?
See, he knows I'm right. He knows I'm right.
You just a lie. You're not finna sit up here.
Them billionaires. Don't believe what you
Keke
hear.
Palmer, you're not finna sit up here and act like I done turned you on to some bad dude. You do not listen to me.
I do. When
No, you
told
don't.
me about these billionaires, I said,
No,
you know
I
what?
told you, but I didn't tell you to go get him. The hell you go get him
But he was
for?
a billionaire. He had a plan. He was just lying about it all.
But I didn't tell you to get
I'm
him.
telling you, liars are liars, rich
This
or
little
poor.
girl right here.
You just have to find who's for you. And, you know, that's just it. Because I'm telling you, billionaires, they have just as much baggage as the rest of them. Honey, trust me. Trust me.
Why are you clapping for this ignorant mess right here?
It's true. It's true. It's true. Don't be mad, Steve.
Who I try to tell you to get with, you don't want to hear me. Now all of a sudden he ain't pretty enough. I done told you about these pretty ass.
No, the
boys.
one you were trying to get me with was pretty, and I seen
No,
him.
he
on the,
wasn't
I
pretty.
seen him on the gram with some other celebrity chick. Yeah.
And you ain't gonna meet nobody that ain't got no damn body.
Yeah, Steve.
Who you know got something, ain't got nobody. Like, it's just
It's
impossible.
true. Everybody's been with someone. And
That's right. You gotta get to know them. I didn't tell you to.
These guys don't be trying to get to know nobody. They just be trying to go to bed fast. I ain't got the time.
Oh, y'all finna clap for that too?
It's true. It's true. I'm gonna be serious with you guys. It's
You
true.
sit up here
With
like,
a lot of these,
like I don't know that.
It's
I
true.
wrote a book about it. I tried to tell y'all.
with a
man.
lot of these billionaire guys or these industry
You ain't
guys,
coming on this show
they get
no more.
they get stuff so fast, you all. They get stuff so fast that when they meet someone like me, that's like, you know, okay, you can't just buy me something and I'm gonna be thinking you're the greatest guy in the world. I actually want a conversation, want you to have interest in what I do, want you to actually work to get to know me. They act like they don't know what to do because the easiest thing that they've learned that works is to just buy everybody everything. It's just like, I can buy myself everything. I don't need you to buy me anything, love. The things that I need for you is money, what money can't buy.
I done had this talk show 7 years. You ain't ever heard me tell one woman to do nothing she just said. 7 damn years. I have said direct opposite. But little Miss
hitting up all
Fast
them
over
women.
here,
I'm hitting up all these women.
little Miss Fast over here don't listen. Then when she go make the mistake, then she come back, I did that. You didn't do a damn thing I told you.
I did, Steve. Okay, so tell me what I need to do, Steve. What I need to do, apparently.
I said, this is what I told you. You need to make 2 lists of what you will accept in a man and what you will not accept in a man.
Okay.
I told you that.
I did that.
No man is going to be all of what you want. He does not exist. He exists, but he left. He's coming back, but we know not the hour or the day. Now, you take the don't list and you make sure that the don'ts don't outweigh the do's. There
Yeah.
are some deal breakers and there are not. Now, you can find a nice guy, but he has to have a plan. He don't have to have $1 million yet, but he has to have a plan to get somewhere close to that. Because you make a lot of money. What you cannot do is be taking care of nobody else. So what you can't give nobody your lifestyle.
Yeah.
He got to come in here with a lifestyle that you can put it together with. That's all I've ever seen.
Okay, well, Steve, I'm with that. I'm with all those things. That's exactly me. But like you said, we don't know the hour or the day or the month. So, you know.
That was a reference to Jesus.
Well, praise the Lord.
You see this here? See this
Well,
problem?
praise the Lord, praise the Lord.
Now you all saw just firsthand what didn't happen with me and little Keke Palmer relationship. I tell her one thing, she take it and go, well, we don't know
No,
the
see,
hour or the day.
I
We
agree.
ain't talking about Jesus.
I agree, Steve. I agree. I agree with the list. You know, I agree with the do's and the don'ts. I agree with setting the boundaries, setting hard lines, but also understanding there's room to grow, to breathe, and to
Yeah.
making sure that person at the end of the day has the foundation
Yeah.
of what you can grow with. And I'm down with I'm with it. But when somebody shows me that they're not with it, then they're out. They're out of here. They're out. They're out, Steve. They're out. They're done. Because the gag is, I don't have time for games.
Okay. I don't know what scene that was from, but the gag is, I don't have time for games.
Y'all, black women are so programmed to demonize wealth. Black women are demonized, but y'all will coddle the shit out of some poverty pain. Excuse and pardon me, Francois. Black women will make every excuse for a Tyrone, Tom, Dick, and Tyrone's hairy dick. Tyrone and his hairy dick. Y'all will make every excuse in the world for why you want to choose poverty. Because where has poverty ever been kind? Did you not see Carlisha Hood get punched by Jeremy Brown at a hot dog stand? When has poverty ever been kind and compassionate? Poverty is stingy. Poverty wants you to pay for half. Like, I can't believe this. What? I'm trying to understand. People love to cheer on black women in their degenerate ideology, dilapidated scarcity, poverty mindset. He said, y'all gonna clap for that too? Yeah, and that's why you don't have no generational wealth. But the other side, that's like, no, we look at factors such as education. Because if white men are the majority of the population, then there's way too many men, not enough women, so they get to start choosing. Well, we're only 6% of the population in California, so we're all the California billionaires. Shit. If we're the minority and half of our men are dead or in jail, wait a minute. If we're the minority, we're only 12 to 13, 14% of the population, and they're 70% of the population, and they're mainly married. There's a lonely list of wealthy white, and they on average, he makes more than the average black man. So you mean to tell me you gonna deny wealth? Come again? I'm trying to understand something here. Y'all just like to vilify people that are successful. Y'all got the same rules and guidelines, well, not according to the Reparations Task Force, but I want a billionaire matchmaker. I want Uncle Steve to be like, hey, that's what you're supposed to be doing. That's what they were doing in Bridgerton. Looking at the brats, looking at the peerage, who father just died and whose son is next in line, and who my age got money. That's why y'all over there with them poverty peen, slobbing on the knob, getting on your knees, busting it open, and twerking for some poverty. Poverty don't want to buy your kids some diapers. Poverty only wants to buy his kid in the household food. Poverty don't buy you gifts. So y'all rejecting gifts? Have at it. I'm going to be at the 5-star hotel. Y'all can have that. Y'all can have that. Y'all can have that. Y'all can have that. I don't want it. Y'all can have it. I don't fucking want it. Not y'all out here. Y'all here choosing mental retardation. Y'all out here choosing no inheritance. Y'all out here choosing no college education, no job, ain't bought you a drink in the club, ain't took you on a nice dinner date, ain't invited you, ain't elevated your wealth. Y'all think that's nice. But for some reason, they have programmed black American women against wealth. And then you sitting here wondering why y'all in dilapidated states. Okay, I see what we got now. Okay. Hey, we figuring this out. Hey, some troubleshooting going. Look. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good to know. So I'm gonna move over to my interview with Mayor Bass. I did have to play that. That was hard to watch. That's why y'all out there with that poverty peen on the internet embarrassing you about some clothes outfit. Did he buy that dress that he's complaining about? That's a travesty. Keke Palmer ought to be ashamed of herself. She ought to be ashamed. I was hanging out with billionaires last week. I'm going to be hanging out with billionaires again this week. So, I don't know what billionaire y'all know act like Jeremy Brown, but that's poverty. Poverty is like Jeremy Brown punching Carlisha Hood at the hot dog stand in the typical dangerous areas of Chicago. Billionaires look like Philip Plain. Let me show you what the brother Plain, everyone called his brother's name. Poverty gave me free food and drinks at the Waldorf Astoria and said, you don't have to bring anything to the table, just present yourself. See how y'all demonize? Billionaires say, come party, have a good time. I'm celebrating something cool that I'm doing in the industry. What do I need to, this is not, what do I look like? What can I bring to the table to the Waldorf Astoria? What do I look like? I'm going to bring something to the potluck. Honey, I'm going to go in the kitchen and start cooking. That's how some of y'all, let me start cleaning up the Waldorf Astoria. I was supposed to be a guest at the party, but now I want to start cooking and cleaning. Poverty is rude. Poverty doesn't have etiquette. Poverty's breaking protocol. Poverty doesn't give gifts. So I'm so happy that black women do think like that. It lessens the competition. This is capitalism. I'm about to capitalize off of that. I'm going to capitalize off of that. The billionaires are experiencing. So actually, we're going to get into the billionaire surge before we get into Keke Palmer Shepard. The billionaires are having a surge of $14 million per day for the past 6 months of 2023. Excuse you. The billionaires are having a surge right now of $14 million a day. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, they take care of their women. The gifts is to let you know I have extra money to spend. The gift is to let you know I was thinking about you. Who is turning down gifts? And then wonder why you sitting in generational poverty, inherent poverty, remaining in a perpetual state of poverty. I hate saying those words. Look at my face crunching up. Let's go back to talking about Philip Plain and the billionaires having a surge. 500 billionaires around the world. 500 of the wealthiest people in the world are experiencing a surge right now. Wow. And we want to demonize what now? No, we're not doing that. The $852 billion surge from the billionaires. The billionaires are having a surge right now. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk lead the way. And we sitting here talking about we don't want gifts from billionaires. We all the way fucked up. We all the way fucked up. We saying, ooh, they gonna be mean too. Poverty is mean. Wealthy men do not need you embarrassing their company while they about to have their company launch. They got issues. People are human. Yes, he might have, but he got rich people problems. His issue is that he don't know which island to buy. Yes, he's got baggage, but he got carriers. He's got a valet and he's got a butt boy to help him carry the bag. He got baggage, girl. He don't have a valet and a footman and a concierge service. He don't have a driver. Y'all just be saying anything to demonize wealth, and that's why wealth will never find its way to you. But wealth was like,
Elon Musk is seeing his own net worth jump by more than anyone so far this year. He and the world's 500 richest people have gained more than $850 billion in wealth, and that's according to the Bloomberg's Billionaire Index. Annie Massa reported on this story for us at Bloomberg, and she joins us now. Annie, the incredible thing here is it's not just the world's biggest billionaires. Actually, every member of the index made an average of $14 million per day over the last 6 months. How much of this is just a function of the market?
Well, it's absolutely a function of the market. The S&P 500, of course, did quite well, rising 16%. So that did not, that was very helpful to all of these billionaires. And gains in the tech sector, many of these billionaires their wealth is concentrated in tech and tech-related companies as well. So that was a big force moving up their net worth by those staggering sums.
Staggering. And again, on the losing side, there were definitely people as well, including Gautam Adani. Of course, Adani Group having a very difficult quarter, Annie, to say the least. Talk to us about some of the losers.
Yeah, the most compelling thing about the billionaires who lost the most in this 6-month period are that you can see the fingerprints of one particular short seller all over. So Hindenburg Research issued short reports in these past 6 months about Adani and Carl Icahn, and they were both the top two billionaires who saw the steepest losses in their net worth. In the case of Carl Icahn, losing more than half of his net worth and about half for Adani. So that was one theme that emerges from those who saw the greatest losses.
And how fragile is wealth at the top at the end of the day? We saw a lot of the top 3 billionaires flirting with beating each other for a while there. I mean, does Elon Musk have a firm lead given the gains that he's seeing?
Yeah, the story with Musk really is if you come from what happened.
So as you can see, wealthy men are getting wealthier. They're doing what they want. They're doing what they got to do. They're not being comfortable with saying, I'm a billionaire and my life is complete and now I can sit around and be a degenerate. That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening here at all, not in the least bit. And for some reason, the bottom of our community are going to remain, unfortunately, in a perpetual state because they're not going to clean up their etiquette. They're not going to improve their lives. They're not going to no, they're not going to clean it up. They're not going to Let's see. I was just trying to have it where I can well, I don't have to show my picture, but we done the mayor stuff, so I think we're good on that. I'll do that later because we have some more stories this week, so I'll get that going later. So I just kind of wanted to recap here. I hope everything's going well. If y'all have any questions about any information we went over today, I appreciate your questions. Yes, you've been on your Sprinkle. What would Sprinkle say about Keke Palmer? What would Cynthia G say about Keke Palmer? Of course, everybody's cheering for the America's favorite Keke Palmer. But for the most part, she was dead wrong. And I held a fan base room about it yesterday. She should have never picked that man at that party. Sprinkle would have told her to be attractive. And you will attract what you want. And if a man ain't strong enough and he's too intimidated by you to come and ask you for your number, that man is just as hesitant and less confident about going after his dreams in life. The man is not going to fight for anything in life. If he don't want to fight for, there's a beautiful woman, let me go speak to her. We live in a patriarch. And so Keke Palmer's in her masculine because she's got more money. So she emasculated him. Then she let that ejaculate inside of her. And so we have issues.
So yeah, that was me. Keke Palmer was dead wrong. Why would you turn down a billionaire and then go pick a dusty that's insecure and mean? Do you see billionaires all over social media bragging on their wives in that way? Do you see Mark Zuckerberg saying like, "Yeah, I hit that," and sexually degrading his wife? Do you see Bernard Arnault publicly shaming his side pieces and girlfriends? Or do they provide for their children publicly? Or do they hug their sons and say, my son's coming to the company launch with me and you're going to be on the red carpet? Like, I wanted to show, like, let me show you Philip Plain. And I don't like to show sometimes when they're with their kids, but this woman on public television. What if the billionaire, he was like, oh, you know, Steve, Uncle Steve, you're going to have Keke Palmer on your show tomorrow? I'm a huge fan. I really like her. And I want to date her. And then what if the billionaire was watching? I'm telling you, the universe is always listening to what you say you want. And you sitting here because you want to fit in a conversation. Oh, I don't want no wealthy man. Man, please. Man, let me show you Philip Plain. Let me show you, bro. Let me show you a man that is a billionaire fashion designer. Wow. And they on national television. What if the crush was like, oh, I'm going to watch her and I'm going to see. I bet afterwards he was like, nah, bruh, I'm good. Let me show you. Let me see. Can I get this full? I'll just shoot over to it. This is what billionaire men do. This is how billionaire men interact with their sons and their family publicly. Okay, this billionaires are nice. They're kind. They say, "Come to our party." Billionaire men are saying, "Come to our parties, eat our food. We take care of our friends. Thank you for being here to celebrate with me today. Um, I appreciate you all." The man of the hour, billionaire fashion designer, has NFT watches that he's coming out with, customized. You cannot buy this in stores. You have to have made an appointment during the time they were available. Come in, buy at the Waldorf Astoria in Beverly Hills. He's got a beautiful wife. He showed off his Bel Air mansion. It looks amazing. Yeah, his home in Beverly Hills is massive. You can't be mean in that house. You got too much beauty. Luxury is beauty. Who gonna be mean with all that luxury around them? Who gonna be mean with all that luxury around them? Who gonna be mean with all that luxury around them? Here's some more of my videos. Make sure you check out my social media. Who gonna be mean with all that? Who gonna be mean at the Waldorf Astoria? Who's gonna be rude at the Waldorf Astoria? Nasty energies. Not me. It was too much champagne for me to be angry. It was too much champagne for me to be angry. Y'all be rejecting wealth. Somebody done told y'all watch too many Lifetime movies. This Lifetime movie, when that man, I watched a Lifetime movie, that man said, I'm a Rockefeller, so she fell for it. But she was like, this is kind of weird. We never go to any Rockefeller. Oh, I'm estranged from my family. They don't want to give me inheritance. Oh, so she goes with the story. Okay, some things checking out. He just making stuff up. When we gonna go to one of your Waldorf Astoria a family functions? That's what, that's one of the Lifetime movies I remember. That man was lying. He wasn't attached to anything New York society. He wasn't attached to the Rockefellers nor any type of wealth. Okay, so I think this is what's going to be today. So we do have some more things with this amazing mayor coming up. Are we still here? We still good? We running? Yes, we have some amazing things with the mayor coming up. Are we good? We still rolling here too? Girl,
Girl, who gonna be? I'm not punching nobody at the Waldorf Astoria when they giving us free champagne. Who taught y'all poverty is mean? Like Jeremy Brown, 6 feet under now. Who told y'all what wealthy men like? Girl, we got more money to make. If you don't sit down at home, why do you think Keke Palmer works so many jobs? Because her man can't and ain't. So she in her masculinity, she is not in her divine femininity. The goddesses receive. They lay offers at the goddess's feet. And here y'all go rejecting it. So glad. I'm so glad. Oh my God, I'm so glad. You go, hey, y'all don't want to live in luxury. Y'all don't want luxury. Y'all don't want that luxurious lifestyle. Y'all don't want luxury. So good. That is so good to know. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. That was so crazy. Like, so I had a little bit of music going on there. Look, no, I guess I'm gonna play it here. I hope y'all can hear it. Let's see. Sometimes we're gonna play a little bit of music. We're gonna see what Facebook gonna and we're gonna ride out. And we're gonna continue the conversation on fan base. Maybe. The Dusties was coming out when black women started talking about hanging out with billionaires and being friends with billionaires and going to their parties and having dinner with them and they taking care of us and we talking about the day's issues and how we could work together to cure the world and solve the world of its problems. We're gonna ride this broadcast out. Yeah, got it here. Here we go. Here we go. People are trying to pack her house. All right out with it. Hey. Y'all don't want that luxury. I'll take it. Keke Palmer tripping. Thanks for tuning in. Another broadcast. Melanated news you can use. Hey, that's what I'm talking about.